Morning, Commissioners. Commissioners check-ins, Monday, December 9th, 2024. It's 2:04 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. We have a full slate of commissioners here. Commissioner Fournier, Mejia, Edwards, and Klaus. My left, County Manager Miro. Lynn Hernandez. Sorry, guys. And we've got 3 agenda items. First up is an executive session, so we will be pulling out of the live stream. There is a live stream for this meeting, but we have approximately 30 minutes slated for an executive session pursuant to RCW 4231.10.1I to discuss with legal counsel representing agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions, or to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency governing body or member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. Litigation or potential litigation will be addressed. Again, approximately 30 minutes. Board action may follow. So we will be in executive session from 2:06 to 2:36. At that point, if there's an extension needed, we will come out and let the public know. So we'll see everybody back at 2:36.
microphone's on, is it? Yes. Where's that green light that normally pops up?
10,
There is normally a green light. I'm not sure where it is.
Huh?
2:57.
What's going on?
It used to be on.
All right, we have a technical issue. We're going to
Russians.
There it is, right there, see? Now it's on.
As soon as I mentioned the
All
Russians,
right.
it came back on.
Thank you, Commissioner Edwards.
I was hearing you guys okay.
Okay, all right, so it's 2:57.
Sure you were, comrade.
And we are back from executive session. We gave direction to legal counsel regarding the issues that were discussed, and there's no formal board action. We have two other agenda items. The next one is reports on external boards and commissions. I have a few, but anybody have an external committee or external report to give?
I don't have any, I gave one the
Okay.
other day.
Commissioner, yeah, anything?
Attended intercity transit. We approved the budget, and we are going to be holding several open houses in order to kind of hear from potential riders as well as riders, and just trying to meet kind of our priorities in terms of expansion of services or expansion of routes. So that is going to be happening next year. So it was just very exciting to hear about it. Attended the Fair Board holiday party right after IT, and it was just really great to share with all of the Fair Board members. And TRPC, nothing really big. Oh yes, we'll be getting funding on some of the projects that we submitted for. So we approved several projects that went through. I cannot remember right now at the top of my head, but I'm happy to share what those were. With the BHASO and OHRS, we also had the budget approval. And those are the big things. I attended other events, but those are committee reports.
Okay, I guess I'll jump in then. I had a couple that I thought the board might be interested in. I mentioned the one. I was at the Carbon Friendly Forestry Conference.
Say that 10 times.
Carbon Friendly Forestry Conference on Friday in SeaTac, and that was great. It had, Paul Jewell was there, many county, not many, but a few county commissioners were there. Court Stanley, who's somebody who speaks, he was on one of the panels, and that was talking about the 80-year rotation. He gave a lot of information, so it was really interesting to see how much work has been done on trying to show how we can do a smooth transition to longer rotations, which makes some sense and for various reasons. So it was a really good conference. Some of it was a little technical for me, but I learned a lot at the same time. So I also attended, let's see, I wanted to mention the Office of Public Defense Community Advisory Committee. We discussed, apparently there was a big meeting of the Supreme Court regarding the caseload standards, and according to Larry Jefferson, the director, the Supreme Court set another meeting for late February. And I asked him, does he think that they're going to be, that no decision is going to be made before that? And he thought that that was the case. So we probably won't hear anything prior to that February 26th, I want to say, meeting about that. So, you know, even Office of Public Defense, that's obviously very much in favor of the standards, have an implementation schedule that's, you know, lays it out over a few years, not quite as long as ours, but as our proposal, but anyway, so just kind of, I know there was talk about there being an imminent decision, and I think that's going to be delayed for another few months.
Do you know if they made a decision on the appeal for WASAC? Did Larry report on that? Because at the last WASAC meeting, they said they were waiting for the Supreme Court to make a decision. I was wondering if maybe they.
I don't think there was a talk about that, no.
Okay.
And the last thing I wanted to report on was that, just something you might want to know about, it's not on our legislative priority list, but there's a group of community stakeholders, kind of the same group that was working on a Deschutes Watershed Council concept. They've now sort of upped their proposal. Rather than focusing on a council formation, they've got a comprehensive comprehensive restoration proposal for the entire Deschutes watershed. It's in 3 phases. They've got, phase one is the lower Deschutes, and they've got all sorts of restoration, and the property owners are all, and then, which are, a lot of them are publicly owned, but are all dialed in, and they've got projects dialed in, designed, ready to go. The upper Deschutes is mainly Weyerhaeuser, and Weyerhaeuser for the first time is working with them collaboratively on some initial steps to restoration projects. And then the middle Deschutes, which is really where the county controls a lot, where there's a lot of agricultural land and development, land use issues. There's just a lot of miscellaneous property owners, and so they're gonna be, the focus on, that's, the second piece of it will be focused on education, outreach, building relationships, doing some studies, collecting data, trying to lay the groundwork for future work on the restoration of the middle Deschutes. So anyway, Squaxin Island Tribe is part of this, the DIRT group, there's like 10 different partners. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because I wanted everyone to be aware of this. It's going to be a legislative ask. I'm being brought in as the Salmon Recovery Council watershed representative. I'm going to be meeting with Beth Dolio and potentially Peter Barno, who has a little chunk of the upper Deschutes in his district. Those are the two main ones that we're going to try to make sure they understand what this is about and see if they have any advice on. I mean, obviously it's a tight budget year, but I want to say it's, what they're asking for is they want to use the floodplains by design program, which has a $10 million max, and they want to kind of, every 2 years, they want to kind of go for $10 million chunks in like succeeding rounds of the floodplains by design. I think the whole thing is like $50 million. So over 10 years, they would potentially get $10 million chunks in 5 pieces. So it's kind of ambitious, and this might not be the year, but they want to at least get the conversation started. And so I was briefed on it so that I would be able to speak with some logic when we meet with the legislators.
Do they have a short sheet?
Yes, and I haven't gotten my hands on it yet, but it should be in my hands soon, and I'll
Once you get it, yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, that's my reports. And there's no other external reports? Yeah,
I
go
met
ahead.
with district court folks, and we just kind of talked about the next kind of, the Hilltop project, and us kind of signing on to some type of agreement saying that we intend to make that a priority. I attended Steady in Yelm, it's probably been 3 weeks ago now, where we got a few different presentations on things going on in Yelm. Yeah, good job. Toured TCOM. I'm trying to meet with some of the different external boards and commissions that I'll likely be assigned to. So went and toured TCOM with the director not too long ago, and learned about what they're dealing with and some of the things that they are going to be working on next year. Met with our internal auditor today to learn more about the internal audit committee, and I plan on doing some more of that. He gave me some good handouts, and it was really interesting to kind of learn what the role is that he plays and how, and getting a lot of his background. He's a fascinating guy, so I really enjoyed getting to know him. And then attended the EDC Regional Economic Development Expo. It was very well attended down at the Great Wolf Lodge a couple of days ago. That's the expo for it's Pacific, Lewis, Grays Harbor, and Thurston counties. Their EDCs all get together, and as you guys all know, they do a big talk about kind of hot topics and things to be worked on. It's always, I think, interesting to hear from the different tribal entities. They kind of kick it off talking about the economic climate within their kind of jurisdictions and their business goals. And every year, it just more clear how much of a juggernaut the tribal governments are and the tribal enterprises are for our region, how many people they employ, how much money they bring into this area. And I think as far as economic activity goes, nobody is outworking our tribal partners. So it's always interesting to hear that. Attended a couple different seminars, one on just kind of the lobbying climate, and then tried attending another one, but then got pulled in a bunch of, everybody wanted to talk. It's a great networking event.
Super good networking.
Yeah, it's worth going to just for that, because there's a lot of people in one room that you can run into. Matt attended a seminar on the creative economy that Annette Roth spoke at, and then I was really excited to learn that she took a position as the new EDA director. So the EDA is like the super EDC, it's an economic development area, and it is comprised of Mason County, Grays Harbor County, Pacific County, and Thurston County, and they're creating a new layer of economic development organization that will allow more federal funds to kind of filter into those 4 counties. And she's a super squared away administrator, and I think she's going to do a great job for Thurston County and the rest of them.
Did they have, sometimes they had a guy that does economic forecast, a la the guy at Wasac. Did they have?
They had their own economist.
And did he give information that was consistent with the other guy?
A lot of it was similar. He talked about different forecasting models. But the guy at Wasac, I really liked how he got into like the narrative economics.
Right.
I thought that was fascinating. This guy, he didn't have the same kind of humor, but he had a lot of good printouts. Stuff that he talked about was very similar in that, you know, we're beating the national average in Washington State as far as our economy and inflow of residents. And in Thurston County, we're beating the rest of Washington as far as inflow of residents, which kind of compounds our housing issues even more. And I think lends to that housing compression discussion that we were talking about the other day. And our prices are going up because there's more people coming in willing to buy houses. That causes compression, and then you throw kind of gentrification issues on top of that. And yeah, Washington needs more houses, and we're the worst about allowing them. Is pretty much the story.
I guess I just want to expand on Commissioner Fournier's report down from the Great Wolf Lodge from that economic development. What I took away from that was retention is going to be a big issue over the next 10 years. And the economist that did give us that presentation had some graphs up. You know, you can kind of make graphs fit, but had to do with the demographics of our communities and the workers' age group. And a certain group has aged out, and there's a blank spot coming, and it's going to last for about 10 years, where we're going to have a hard time getting people to fill. It doesn't matter if you're running a music store or something else, you know, county government, whatever.
Probably why the guy in Vancouver said the 2 biggest things we need are housing and immigration.
Yeah, well, they're both going to affect it, for sure.
Fill the workforce needs we have.
But it's going to be a workforce issue that sounds like it's going to be an ongoing problem. And for individuals that have help, rather than just figure, well, there's more help out there, and, you know, you don't have to be too good to your help, you know, because you'll get more applications, it's not going to come. And so it behooves every organization to treat their employees as good as they feasibly can.
Speaking of which, Commissioner Mejia, I wanted to ask you, you guys are having, you said the IT passed a budget,
Yes,
but you have ongoing labor negotiations, is that true?
yes,
They're
that
not-
is correct.
They're not resolved,
They're not resolved yet.
and is that gonna get, I mean, is that, are we talking about months, or are you getting close to the end, or?
Well, they do have an upcoming meeting. We did receive public comment about the ongoing negotiations, and I think there's a meeting this week to continue those. Of course, the hope is for them to be resolved
As soon as possible.
as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah, I heard there was some robust public comment at your last meeting. Okay, perfect. Okay, is there any commissioner items?
So there's the chair and vice chair selection process. And Chair, if you'll allow me, I am hoping that we can reschedule this conversation until next week. Seeing that we can't really approve until the Tuesday agenda, I'm hoping that this can be scheduled for next Monday.
Fine with me. Objection to that? Given all these things we're dealing with this week. Okay, sounds like everybody's all right with that. Any other commissioner items? I wanted to take up this, well, we don't have to discuss it, but I guess I'm gonna ask the county manager if we could have a discussion teed up about this letter we got about a bear cat like knocking down somebody's fence. $4,600 of damage. I don't know if you've seen this letter from constituent.
Yeah, so the process for that is that it needs to be routed through risk management.
Yeah,
I think it came to us kind of out of sequence. So our approach is that we're sending it through the risk management process.
she says risk management denied it.
We're waiting for an update from HR.
Okay. Well, this is the second time that this has come up in my 6 years, and
From the same person?
no,
or- oh,
this
okay.
type of thing, where there was a private property damaged by county employee, and I actually helped that constituent work through the process and told them to go through, and it's denied, and then they, you know, and in that case, I felt bad, but I felt like there really wasn't much we could do, you know. But I guess I just wondering, you know, about this one, if it's
That was a
been-
mailbox thing, wasn't it? The snow
Mailbox
plow?
one, the snow plowing the mailbox, yeah.
Oh, no.
Snowplow pushed the snow, this is this one, this is worth repeating the story. The snowplow pushed the snow and it knocked this lady's mailbox down, but risk management said, well, the policy is because the snowplow didn't contact the mailbox, it contacted the snow that pushed the snow, and it was the snow that pushed the mailbox, she didn't get anything.
I'd go out and fix the mailbox myself.
I was almost on the verge of it. If I knew more how to do that, with how to use concrete stuff, I probably would have, because I was pretty upset. It just seemed like a real technicality, but at least we were talking about a few $100. This is $4,600, and if we have admissions from our own staff that it was unnecessary.
Let's hear from the sheriff, maybe, too.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I just want to know more, but there's enough facts here that I want to hear more about it.
Yeah, I'll check with the HR and then we'll circle back around when it's ready
Appreciate
for review.
Thank you. Anything else from the board? All right, very good. We're back tomorrow at,